Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It was a really much needed, refreshing break we had just before the start of this last activity for the day. I'm here along with my colleague Ishwari, representing Prist University, and we are going to give you a blazing snapshot of our institution. We know we are really hard pressed for time, so we'll make it as concise and as brief as possible. Purnaya Ramjaram institutions, known as Prist, has its mother campus at Tanjavur. We are a deemed university approved under Section 3 of the UGC Act, and we also have NAC accreditation, and we are also recognized by the AICTE New Delhi. The Prist journey started way back in 1986 with the setup of a small institute catering to computer and technology. And today, in 2012, we are a conglomerate of educational institutions where we offer education in this part of the world, starting right from school education going up to the level of postdoctoral programs. The highlight of Prist University in the recent past has been, just in the year past, a student from the Prist school bagged the state first 10th result, and he was the first student in the state. So that was one major highlight which emanated from Prist. We have campuses spread about over a dozen locations, starting with Tanjavur, where we have the mother campus, as I told you, and our campuses are spread over the entire part of the state in Kumbakonam, Trichy, Pondicherry. We have 2 campuses in Chennai right now, and 2013, we're going to have a fully state-of-the-art campus right on ECR Road. Now, coming to the student profile, we have over 15,000 students in the Prist family studying a whole lot of courses such as technology, engineering, management, education, biotech, MBA, MCA, and what you have. In addition to this, we also have add-on courses and vocational courses to supplement the academic skills of our students. All the statutory bodies, the highest statutory bodies in the country, such as UGC, DRDO, AICTE, have been gracious enough to give us sizable research grants to carry out various projects in-house. We have a dedicated center and research and development, which is headed by a team of doctorates across all disciplines. Coming to the master's program, more specifically the MBA program, we also offer, in addition to the regular MBA program, an executive MBA program, and we also have the part-time MBA program, which is offered to the students from the corporate world. Quality and excellence are the 2 watchwords which drives Prist. All of us sitting here are aware these are goals which are very difficult to achieve and which needs constant effort on the part of everybody. everybody in the Prist family, the student, the management, the faculty, and Prist partners are committed to achieving these two basic tenets of Prist lifestyle. Come to Prist, we just don't give you mere education. At Prist, education is a way of life. I now call upon my colleague Ishwari to gracefully wind down our presentation.
Thank you, Dr. Kumar. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm really sorry because it's the last, but definitely not the least presentation from our college. And I wouldn't take a lot of time, just another 2 or 3 minutes max. So, being the director of the Prist Group of Institutions for the Placement and Training Department, I wouldn't say that, we produce rocket scientists at our school, and which is not true, and you all know that. So, yes, we do have students, and out of the 15,000 students that we have this academic year, 2,300 students are the final years, so we definitely need your help, especially the HR department's help. All I ask is just visit our campus, and we provide you with the right attituded people so that if they match your requirements, you can go about with them. And we do not just consider only with our university. If there is a recruitment need, and if a HR company is going to let us know, what we would do is we would give an advertisement to the entire state, to Tamil Nadu as well. So we do not stick only to our university students. We are open for all the fresh graduates. So apart from this, all I wanted to say is visit our campus once, and we will prove you who we are. Thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, so the time has come for us to just take a quick kind of rewind for the day, so that we kind of go back with some firm perspectives on the current issue of bridging the skill gap. While talking about the skill gap, I suddenly remembered what I normally cover in my training programs as well. And many of them today incidentally covered that aspect. When we spoke about attitude and things like that, normally we say that there are two aspects to every human being in terms of being a good employee or whatever. One is what is called as the skill, which is his competence, his attitude, and his knowledge and all of that, which can be improved with the help of training, which can be improved if he goes on a sabbatical, does from a diploma program, he does a AMI or a part-time B and qualifies himself higher and so on. So there is this one side of the coin which is called as the skill. The other more important part of the side of the coin is what is called as will. W-I-L-L. That therefore a truly engaged employee is one who has the right balance of skills and knowledge required to do a job which has been given to him, and which is supported and backed and complemented and supplemented by the right kind of attitude. Somebody spoke about behavioral training and how can you do behavioral training. What is set is already set. How can you improve or change? Behavior modification is possible according to psychologists and according to organization behavior specialists. So it is really possible to deal with the will aspects of an employee by various interventions and thus bring about a balanced employee to work in the workplace. Because if there is an imbalance, what will happen is that you will get 4 different types of employees in your workforce. One, a set of employees who are able and willing. Able and willing. The second set of employees who are able but not willing. So you have a problem there. The third set of employees who are willing but not able. You have a problem there also. And the fourth set of employees you have who are unwilling and unable, which is of course to be exited out of the organization and so on. So typically, in a very crude way of a manner of speaking, the skill gap and things like that can actually be summarized in this fashion, that if you have a gap between the skill and the will, then there are interventions which are necessary by the organization, either in terms of training, in terms of counseling for behavioral modification and so on, or in terms of mentoring, or at a higher level in terms of coaching and so on and so forth. So to address the will aspect. To address the skill aspect, of course, you have on-the-job training, and somebody mentioned about outbound training, that Mr. Hari was mentioning about the TVS Madurai example of sending their employees for an outbound training program, and or it could be within a classroom, it could be an experiential program, it could be a book reading program, it could be of any such intervention such that the skill and the will gets both addressed. Just to take us now back to the proceedings for the day. Well, we started with Mr. Krishna of Petrofac telling us that like the three cosmic forces, what is called as the Shrishti, Shruti and Laya, in the sense that there is something which has to initiate the HR process in an organization. So that's something like the creation of an HR process. The second is, please come sir. Vanga sir, please. And the second process is where you, let's say, sustain these processes in terms of the organization, because the organization is on a sustenance mode, and then the growth is required because markets are exploding, products are doing well, and the economy itself is doing well. So the organization wants to grow, so you have to do organization development as the next higher level of HR and so on. So that is a wonderful way of, creating three stages of HR evolution in an organization. And he also once again emphasized that competencies will have to be assessed objectively. I think he brought about that point, saying that you must have a competency assessment system, but it should be as objective as you can make it out to be. And more importantly, I think he also said, identify the elements. Please come. He also said, identify the elements of these competencies and address each of them through strategic HR initiatives. So, and to sum it up, I think what Mr. Krishna was saying in his keynote address was the age-old definition of HR, which is to put the right person in the right place at the right time. I think that sums up Mr. Krishna's kind of presentation. Then we had a session, technical session 1, where we had presentations by the president HR of RANE, and then there was WAPCO TVS, and of course the Anand Group. And in this particular session, what really comes out is the secret of managing the skill gap at an organizational level, at an enterprise level, is to actually get into customization of skill building inputs, either in the form of training with the help of institutions like the NTTF or whatever, or the Warwick University, or like in L&T, I remember in L&T we had a tie-up with the IIT Madras and IIT Delhi for a MTech construction management program, so that the engineers become that much more capable in the engineering, in the construction technology and so on. So the secret of addressing skill gap is really to identify the skill gap at the enterprise level and customize the inputs that you can get from institutions which are partly academic, partly vocational oriented, like the NTTFs and several other such private organizations. And what was again very interesting was that the certification of these vocational trades is what is recommended by the National Skill Development Corporation. So most of 2 out of these 3 companies were actually talking about these certifications which need to be done. And this was of course highlighted by Mr. Venugopal subsequently, but I'll just come to that in a short while. The other thing is that the TVS group of companies has a complete repertoire or a complete, let's say, bouquet of offerings for the employees in order to use their potential, in order to use their creativity and so on. So they have various activities to be addressed at different levels of the organization, which are all in the areas of total employee involvement, policy deployment, lean manufacturing, daily work management, and process capability improvement, and so on. So these are all methods, like Dr. Sethuraman was saying in his earlier subsequent presentation. These are the methods in which you can engage the employees meaningfully in their day-to-day activities in the organization. And so the employees are completely focused on improvements at the shop floor and thereby deriving satisfaction from their work and thus satisfying not only themselves but also the organization. So it's a wonderful win-win situation in the case of WAPCO TVS. And the other was very important, of course, for all HR and other such fraternity, is that there is also, while we talk about all this, there is also a need to measure them. As they say, what gets measured gets done. So really a methodical and a systematic approach to measurement and the right type of metrics, and they measure the right kind of things in terms of improvement, productivity improvement, wastage elimination, efficiency improvement, machine utilization, machine capacity utilization, and so on. So these are some of the aspects by which the employees themselves also can see directly that their efforts are being translated into significant results, concrete results for their own organization, and so on and so forth. They also talked in this session about very valuable tie-ups with institutions like the IIT, CII, Warwick University, BITS Pilani, SRM University, Vailtech University, and Anna University. So again, that is really the key, I guess, to get over this skill gap issue at the enterprise level. And one very interesting thing that Mr. Patrick mentioned about the Anand Group is that the emphasis on training. I just want to quote one of my favorite quotations on training. I am a great follower of this motivational speaker called Zig Ziglar. Zig Ziglar is probably the most researched, Googled name in motivational speaking, and I am a great fan of his. Now, he was sitting in a conference like this, and he had just finished addressing the conference, and he was sitting there in the dais, and somebody said, like many of you, somebody said, "Sir, I have got a question for Mr. Zig Ziglar." So he says, "Mr. Zig Ziglar, you said so much about training. You seem to be talking so much about training. Companies spend millions of dollars on training. And but given the attrition in the industry today, 20-30% attrition is normal. So if so many people leave after taking the benefit of training from the organization, don't you think it's a waste of investment?" So Mr. Zig Ziglar did not give a very elaborate reply. He just smiled at the person who questioned and said, "Let me ask you a counter question, because that's one way of answering the question itself." So he said that your question is, what happens if the organization trains hundreds of people and many of them leave? My counter question to you is, what happens if the organization does not train and all of them decide to stay back? What happened? You should laugh, or you should smile, or you should clap. What happens if all your employees don't get trained and they stay back? Don't you think that's an issue? A major issue you will have. So I think the belief should be in training. You should invest in training. Investment in training is considered the most valuable investment. And the Anand Group also spoke about skill enhancement through certification. I mean, they follow a process by which the certification happens, just like in the case of L&T construction as well. And in this example again, in this session again, one very standing example, one laudable example in the Indian corporate history itself is that of Ashok Leyland's Pantnagar experience. I mean, just imagine if world-class trucks are being rolled out by 10th and 12th standard pass students who are less than 19 years of age. Don't you think it's a world record of sorts? World-class products are being rolled out by school children, and it's part of their Earn While You Learn program. And what they did not tell you, which I would like to share with you, because I am also aware of this particular example and experience, is that the government of Uttaranchal copied, or rather, let's say, used this idea and wanted to promote this as a scheme by the government of Uttaranchal for other manufacturers who were invited to set up shop in Uttaranchal. And they called, the government of Uttaranchal called this as the Ashirwad program. Ashirwad meaning blessings, because the Ashok Leyland program was called blessings in English, where they built capability through in-house training and on-the-job training, and with a very, very meaningful and a very productive and a very constructive agreement and understanding they had with the NTTF, which is the Nettur Technical Training Foundation. So this is actually a standing example or the epitome of the highest form of collaboration between industry and institution to bring in the best practices at the shop floor and at the same time turn out world-class products. Then we went on to the second session where Mr. Hari was the chairman of, he was representing TVS Madurai, and of course Mr. Jayashankar and Dr. Sethuraman. I mean, yeah, time up, I know. So that's because I'm doing a summary of the day, so let me take 2 more minutes. Okay, so Hari was saying that there are 4 different types of skills. One is the general skills, the second is the technical skills, the third is the communication skills, and the fourth, of course, is the soft skills. So 4 different classifications of skills in the industry and so on. Mr. Jayashankar, of course, spoke very elaborately about the registration and regulation process for labor immigration. I would have been very happy if he had also spoken to us about what are the issues, I mean, what kind of skills get migrated out of India, because that's a loss for India. If he had only spoken and addressed the topic of the day, I would have been that much more happier, instead of only talking about the governmental procedures and regulations and so on. But it was a good awareness creation session as far as I am concerned. Dr. Sethuraman's presentation, like any other veteran HR person, he spoke about competency mapping, competency assessment, and filling in the gaps. I think that was probably the central session which really spoke about competency assessment in an organization, and I'm glad that he did it in a very simple, in a very visible. Did you see the slides that he had put up? Very visible even to the last benchers out there, and that itself speaks about a presentation capability of a good trainer. And I think that again was a wonderful example of Dr. Sethuraman. I've always admired his sessions. He was there in HR caucus last year, and again he did a fantastic job this year as well. He spoke to us about the importance of 360-degree assessment, which is again a very common and a very fast catching up concept in HR in India today. And he was saying that it's very important for an organization to identify what are those 12 or 15 or 10 sets of skills that are needed for an organization, against which the gap in the individual can be identified, so that then we are directly linking the skills required for the organization and the skills that the individual brings to the organization. I think that was a wonderful central piece for this seminar. And he really put us through a wonderful but a brief presentation, thanks to Dr. Sethuraman. And of course, he also cautioned to say that actually the best talent are also the most dangerous part of the talent, particularly in the service industry, because it is so very difficult to retain them and contain them within the organization. That's why he was saying there are a lot of cases of kidnapping that happens and so on and so forth. I think that again was a wonderful session. The third session, or rather in a way I will also try to summarize for the third session and for the day as well in the form of 4 important points. The third session was, of course, about the construction industry and the orchids healthcare, that means the pharma sector. Both these sectors are growing at a very rapid pace in the country, and so they actually represent the larger part of the problem that we face in industry. And so let me just quickly summarize only 4 broad points which are relevant even for the conference as a whole. One is that the task of bridging the skill gap is a huge one. Is a very, very huge, the magnitude of it itself is humongous, and it cannot be handled by any one stakeholder, whether the government or the private sector or the academic institutions or industry or anybody like that, but it has to be a kind of a concerted effort by all the stakeholders. And on this issue, at least all the political parties should come together because it's a national agenda, not for HR, but for the country. And so therefore convergence and consolidation of efforts is very important. The second is that the existing framework for education, whether it's through ITIs or government colleges or AICTE or the IITs type of education, all that is in place, but that has to be modernized. It has to be upgraded. It has to be further enhanced to be relevant for today's requirements and for the requirements of the future, because India's future lies in our skill gap bridging. And the third very important point is that there are many schemes, there are several governmental, semi-governmental, private initiatives that are being taken. Several departments of Government of India are taking initiatives in their own way on skill gap bridging, and they are trying to fund efforts by public-private partnership and so on. But again, all these efforts, there has to be one consolidating agency. Perhaps NSDC, National Skill Development Corporation, should be able to do this so that they bring about a convergence of the activity, and therefore the synergy can probably take place much better when some coordinating agency is taking the lead. And the last point, of course, is that all these initiatives, whether WAPCO TVS or Anand or Sundaram Clayton or L&T, all these companies are taking a lot of initiatives at the ground level, but these need to be multiplicated or even replicated and multiplied several hundred times by many organizations who are sitting here and those who are not sitting here. We all need to do our own bit for bridging the skill gap at the country level. And with that, let me thank the organizers for putting up a fantastic show. Let me also thank the chairman of Voltech, Mr. Umapati, for his support and constant guidance. He is like a star who is constantly shining upon we people, so that his encouragement and support is always there for these conferences. It's very rare to find an entrepreneur like him who is supporting and funding and putting so much of effort and time and energy into a cause like this. And therefore, we must all really thank Voltech as a group and Voltech HR Services headed by Dinesh for doing a fantastic job. Let's give them a roaring applause. Thank you very much. Have a fantastic year ahead. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for those good words. Let's make it short now. As the main session was going on in this hall, another serious round of sessions were going on in a parallel hall. Something quite different. More than 32 young budding HRs were sitting and fighting it out with some corporate HRs of a panel comprising of Mr. Amal Das, Head HR Allison, Mr. David Manikyam, AGM HR and Admin Fenner, and Ms. Vishnu Priya, AGM HR and Admin Tech Pro. Throughout the day, they have undergone more than 7 rounds of selection and rejection, and finally, one winner. I would now request Ms. Vishnu Priya ma'am to kindly come on to the dais and give a brief on the event and declare the result, the Skill Master for the year 2012.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's been an honor being present here in this HR Caucus 2012. About 6-7 months back, I had been to a presentation where Mr. Kumaramangalam Birla had given a speech on success. And what he had, the key point that he mentioned is the conglomerate Aditya Birla Group looks for successful teams, winning teams, and not for brilliant individuals. Taking this further, I think Voltech is doing a brilliant job under its able chairman. Thank you, Voltech. I think you're doing a really good job. Way to go. Today has been an extremely good day, a fantastic day for me. We usually get As HR professionals, we usually get drowned in day-to-day work and we hardly ever get to meet the youngsters. Today was a day after a very long time. I got to interact with the youngsters, see what makes them tick, and it's been a great day for me. So let me announce the winners of the Skill Master. The winner is Mr. K.R. Venkatraman from PSG Institute of Management. Yeah. I would request Mr. A.D. Padma Singh Isaac to give away the prizes, please. Mr. Venkatraman.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have to give him a big round of applause because this boy has been fighting full day for this.
2 consolation prizes. Mariam Varghese and Lalita Priyadarshini from Madras School of Social Work.
They also deserve a big round of applause here.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks for those good words. It's now time for us to honor our dignitaries over here. It's been a great privilege to have this eminent set of people over here. I would like to request our chairman, Mr. Babu sir, to kindly honor Mr. Isaac with a shalway and a small memento from the team of Voltech. Please, sir. Sir. Now I would like to request Head of Operations from Voltech HR Services, Mrs. Sangeeta, to kindly honor Ms. Sharada from Ideal Play Abacus, Managing Director of Ideal Play Abacus. Now I'd like to request Leader Knowledge Services from Team VHRS, Mrs. Divya, to kindly honor Ms. Vishnu Priya, ma'am, from Tech Pro. Now, it was a time for which we all were waiting. We have 2 entrepreneurs from 2 different domains, 2 different business, 2 different verticals, 2 different attributes, and 2 different gender. They point their business, they planned it. They had challenges, including skill gap, but they break it out, and now they stand alone as successful business enterprises. First, to start with, I would like to request Mrs. Sharada Sriram, Managing Director of Ideal Play Abacus, to kindly give away her part of the speech. Sharada ma'am, please.
Good evening, everybody, dignitaries on stage and the delegates here. I must first tell you that I'm probably a lot less experienced in HR than all the experts assembled here today, but I'm going to just share some of my personal experiences in terms of building our company, organization, and also from another side, because we are engaged in the business of training. Of course, we don't train college students, we catch them young. We train children in the age group of 4 to 12 years. So from that perspective, I would just like to share some of my experiences with you people. To give you a very small brief, you're probably wondering what is the activity we are into. I set up the company in 2003, and we are engaged in the field of training children. So like I mentioned, children in the age group 4 to 12 years. And we have several programs like the Abacus, English for Children. And now we are launching a chain of play schools. So we're really targeting the young kids. And we do this by franchising. We set up franchise centers. So we have centers across India. So I have centers in Maharashtra, Punjab, Karnataka, Nagaland, and we've also expanded overseas. So it's been a very exciting journey. It's also been very tough because, like you've all discussed during the day, bridging the skill gap has constantly been an issue. And we are continuing to fight that battle, but it's been really exciting to do all this. And as far as our own company is concerned, I find that getting employees initially as staff, recruiting the people, we are not having any problems in terms of academic qualification. Do you want MBAs? MBAs are available. Do you want, BEds? BEds are available. Do you want just basic degree holders? They are available. So academic qualification is not a problem that we face at all. But what we really face is some other skills like higher order thinking. If you give a person something to do and you expect it to be done in a certain way, it doesn't necessarily translate into action. So, the kind of thinking that is required from people, we are having to train people in higher order thinking and in behavioral skills, which was discussed even earlier. And that is really tough, like getting a person to change his or her attitude, whether they have team spirit. So all these are hurdles that we're really finding difficult. In fact, I came to know Dinesh and Voltech because of our competitions. Every year we conduct something called the national level competitions for students. And this happens after we screen them at the district level and the state level. So I must say that I'm very impressed with the Voltech team because so far we've conducted about 7 or 8 competitions, and every time there was a gap in terms of the volunteers. When we handle about 4,000 or 5,000 students at an event like this, there are a lot of volunteers that we need outside our staff. And though we have a lot of briefing sessions, invariably I find that, we would have told the volunteers something and something else will be happening. Like children will come in through one gate and then we'll ask them to be sent out through another gate to the parents. It's a lot of responsibility to handle children of such a large number. And ultimately, I'll find that the volunteers would have discovered a third gate that they're using. So, it creates so much chaos and difficulties for us. But the last national competition, we conducted in the same venue, and the Voltech team was fantastic. They were able to execute what we wanted even before we were able to brief them. So, a big hand to that team. I think they're actually bridging the gap in practice. We've had other event managers. In fact, our very first competition, I have to share with you, it was in the year 2005, 2 years after we established, and it was in the same hall, Trade Center. The previous night there was some other function, and we were all very raw. It was the first event, so I had no idea that, the previous night I should go and check if the venue is ready. So the students were expected to come at 8:30 in the morning. So I came to the venue at 6 in the morning, and I found that the all the waste from the previous day's function had not been cleared. And the event manager was not even available in the venue. So I had to take my staff and then, get them to clean the place. And we were all, including me, we were carrying tables. So that's the kind of gap that we sometimes find in execution of work, whether it is, at the office level or at the competition in terms of volunteers. And of course, a big challenge today is soft skills. Though there are so many colleges and schools that have kind of sprung up, we find that communication skills are very, very ordinary. I think hopefully there's a lot of work which is happening in this regard. So hopefully in the years to come, that will be a problem which is tackled better. And as far as our business is concerned, our model is we work mostly with women. I have about close to 1,000 franchisees today and about 1,500 teachers. And 80% of this group I'm talking about are women. So we're doing a lot for women, and not all of them are, people with experience. Most cases, we pick up housewives who have had a family, who have spent all their time taking care of the family and their children, and then at a certain stage in life, they feel they are ready to do something else. And since ours is a weekend activity, they all then, a lot of them come to it because they feel that weekends their husbands can manage at home and they can spend time on our business model. So that's the kind of people we train. And I must tell you that we're very happy with housewives because I find that as homemakers, they've already acquired a lot of skills. So there's not that much of gap in terms of training them. The only thing that they really lack is exposure. And what we do is we give a lot of training. How we train them is that we get them to come to our organization. We have different offices all over India. And when they get trained, they have to go back, execute, and then come back to us for a refresher training where we also assess how they have actually implemented the training that we do. And we find that this model is very, very effective. And of course, in the education industry, the kind of skills we look at is good communication skills, patience to handle children, and all this is what we look at when we recruit the teachers or the trainers. And then rest of it, as far as our concept is concerned, whether it's a play school training or the abacus or Vedic maths or memory, those kind of skills, we don't look for any background from their end. We give them the training in our own model because we find that is when it is effectively implemented in the centers. And when we talk about skills and lack of skills, I must, I was just listening to all the earlier talks and I was trying to think internally, what is the skill set that is actually needed in, let's say, like even for me, when I started the company, I'm basically a chartered and cost accountant, so I had no idea about abacus or play school or any such thing. Now I'm trained in all the programs that we implement because I feel that when we do something, we should know what is happening. So I've taken training in, including arts, which I'm not good at, but I've taken training in all the programs that we implement. And there are so many skills that you need. So some of that which you only pick up while you work and which you can't always learn before you join an organization. For example, once when we were having an event in Amritsar, I had to travel from Chennai to Delhi, Delhi to Amritsar, and my flight from Chennai to Delhi was delayed. As a result, I missed the connecting, and there are very few flights from Delhi to Amritsar. I missed the connecting train from Delhi to Amritsar. And I must tell you that my knowledge of Hindi is abysmal. So here I am in Delhi trying to figure out how to go to Amritsar. My local franchisee came and put me onto a bus. And at that time, all the luxury buses had gone. It was one local state government kind of bus. So I got into this bus. And we began this journey to Amritsar. And I was trying to sit next to a lady because, I've not traveled much in a bus away from home and all, and no seat was available. So I I found a seat next to an old Sardar, and I said, okay, let me go and sit next to him. Then I called my colleague and I said, everything is okay now. I'm sitting next to this old person, so it should be okay. So she said, no, that's what you should be careful about. So things like, and Hindi, in the middle of the journey, there was one big fight between two people in the bus, and I didn't know what was happening, whether some big issue was going on. So all these, and then I realized that Hindi was a skill that I needed to know. So now I'm slightly better. But what I'm trying to say is the skills that you need, some of it you can prepare before you join an organization, but some of it is what you will need, and you need to upgrade your skills as and when the organization grows. And of course, I'd like to just conclude by saying a few things. One is, from our perspective, what we are trying to do is to train and catch them young. So the children, the reason we have all these programs is that we train them when they're really young. Phonics, for instance, we found that soft skills is a big challenge today faced by a lot of HR people, which is why we decided to introduce the Phonics program. And this we have introduced in many schools across the country and also in our centers. So what happens is, even if the teacher in a school is not able to speak English well, it's all installed in the software. All she needs to do is to have some basic working knowledge of computers and a little bit of English, and she learns and the child learns. So what we're trying to do is train them when they're young, when it's a lot easier, rather than train them when they're 30 plus, when it is that much more difficult to train a brain. Research has found that the brain can be trained between the age of 4 and 12 very effectively. So that is our target age group. Now we've started even younger. We started at the age of 2.5. And in fact, sometimes when I go out and address parents, they want to know if we have any training program for pregnant women. So maybe we'll start that as well shortly. So I'd just like to conclude by saying that I really appreciate Voltech, their chairman, Dinesh, and the others for the fantastic job that they're doing in terms of bridging the skill gap. I think this is what is really needed today. Even in a country like America, Obama has said that by 2020, there won't be enough people in the manufacturing industry with enough skill sets. So advanced countries are facing that problem. Definitely countries like us will face this problem, and it's up to people like us to bridge this gap. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for those good words and the guidance for the new generation. Next, we are having the eminent person for whom we all been waiting. Sir, I have to be truthful here to tell you that we all have been waiting to listen to you. Sir, we have now Mr. Padma Singh Isaac from Achi Masala addressing the gathering. I think we should all welcome him onto the dais with a big round of applause.
அனைவருக்கும் மாலை வணக்கம். Respectful Mr. Umabadi அவர்களே, ஜிடி சர்மா அவர்களே, மேடையில் இருக்கும் distinguished guests, ஆஃப் த டைஸில் இருக்கிற distinguished guests and participants, காலையிலிருந்து மாலை வரைக்கும் ஹெச்ஆர் உடைய அந்த ஸ்கில் டெவலப்மெண்ட், இந்த நாட்டுக்கு ஸ்கில் டெவலப்மெண்ட்டில் எவ்வளோ கேப் இருக்குது, இதுக்கு எவ்வளோ ஸ்கோப் இருக்குதுன்னு பற்றி நீங்கள் அதிகமாக கேட்டிருப்பீங்க. என்னுடைய ப்ராக்டிக்கல் எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸில் என்னெல்லாம் ப்ராப்ளத்தை நான் ஃபேஸ் பண்ணிக்கிட்டு இருக்கேங்கிறத நீங்கள் தெரிஞ்சுக்கணுங்கிறக்காக தான் ஒருவேளை இவங்க என்ன இந்த நிறைவு செய்யும் விழாவுக்கு என்ன கூட்டாங்களேன்னு நமக்கு தெரியலை. நிச்சயமாக என்னுடைய எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸை உங்கள்கிட்ட நான் சொல்லிக்கொள்ள ஆசைப்படுகிறேன். Actually, I started my industry in the year 1998 with a very clear vision. I came to this market, ஒரு எஃப்எம்சிஜி இண்டஸ்ட்ரியை பெரிய அளவில் டெவலப் பண்ணணும் அப்படின்னு வந்தேன். உங்களுக்கு தெரியும் இல்லையா, முதல்ல நான் ஆரம்பிக்கும் பொழுது யாராவது பின்னால் வருவாங்களா? வரமாட்டாங்க. அப்போது நான் தான் எல்லாரையுமே இன் ப்ரொடக்ஷனாக இருக்கட்டும், ஆர் டிஸ்ட்ரிபியூஷனாக இருக்கட்டும், ஆர் குவாலிட்டி மேனேஜ்மெண்ட்டாக இருக்கட்டும், எல்லாத்துலேயுமே நம்ம தான் ட்ரெயின் பண்ணி ஒரு அளவுக்கு கொண்டு வர வேண்டியது இருந்தது. ஒரு 250 crore பண்ணுற வரைக்கும் I was able to manage with நிறைய ஸ்கில்டு பீப்புள் இல்லாமலே மேனேஜ் பண்ண வேண்டிய நிலை இருந்தது, பண்ணோம். அதற்கு அப்புறமா அந்த கேப் we are able to visualize in any department for that matter, அது R&D-ஆக இருக்கட்டும், or quality assurance department இருக்கட்டும், or accounts department இருக்கட்டும், or transportation department, any department for that, we need skilled people to take care. இன்னைக்கு அதுதான் the last 4-5 years the gap is very big today. In my company, in any company for that matter, or in overseas also, there is a big gap today. Because today, in the food industry, we are doing almost 500 crore. In another 3 years, we are planning to achieve 1,000 crores. சிந்திச்சு பார்க்கணும். 1000 crores நான் பண்ணணும்னா எவ்வளோ மேன் பவர் வேணும், எவ்வளோ ஸ்கில்டு பீப்புள் வேணும். நிச்சயமாக இது ஒரு பெரிய இன்னைக்கு ஒரு சேலஞ்ச் ஃபார் தி இண்டஸ்ட்ரி. நாட் அலோன் ஃபார் மீ, இட் இஸ் a challenge for anybody in this industry. பர்டிகுலர்லி உங்களுக்கு சொல்லணும்னா FDI இன்வெஸ்ட்மெண்ட் இன்னைக்கு பார்லிமெண்ட்டு நடக்க முடியாத சூழ்நிலையில் இருந்துக்கிட்டு இருக்கு. FDI இன்வெஸ்ட்மெண்ட்னால சில்லறை வணிகத்தில் வரலாமா வரக்கூடாதா? ஏன்னா ஏன் வரணும்? ஏன்னா இந்தியா இஸ் a big country with very good economy, lot of potential. கண்டிப்பாக சில்லறை வணிகத்தில் ஃபாரின் கண்ட்ரீஸ்லாம் வர்றதுக்கு கண்டிப்பாக ட்ரை பண்ணுவாங்க. இதில் எந்த சந்தேகமும் கிடையாது. திஸ் ஆம்பிள் ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டி. இதை என்ன கேட்டால் சொல்கிறாங்க, வால்மார்ட் வந்தால் 20 லட்சம் பேருக்கு வேலை வாய்ப்பு கிடைக்கும்னு சொல்கிறாங்க. இன்னும் கொஞ்சம் மாற்றி பாருங்க. இன்னைக்கு கோடிக்கணக்கான ஆண்டர்பிரனர் அன்ஆர்கனைஸ்டாக இருக்காங்க. அதில் இருக்காங்க. அவங்கள எல்லாமே ஸ்கில்டு ஆகிட்டா, மோர் சயின்டிஃபிக்காகவும் சிஸ்டமேட்டிக் ஆகிட்டா இந்திய நாட்டை போல ஆண்டர்பிரனர் அதிகமாக இருக்க முடியாது. அப்படின்னா மொத்தத்தில் இதில் என்ன ப்ராப்ளம் இருக்குன்னா, அந்த ஸ்கில் தான் கேப். இதுதான் இன்னைக்கு இந்தியாவில் உள்ள பெரிய பிரச்சனை. அடுத்தது இன்னொன்று பார்த்தீங்கன்னா, இன் another 10 years அவர் எக்கானமி வில் பி நம்பர் 1 in the worldன்னு சொல்கிறாங்க. நிச்சயமாக வரும், சந்தேகமே கிடையாது. ஏன்னா இந்த 25 to 30 years, அதாவது யூத் கேப் இருக்கு இல்லையா, மேக்சிமம் பாப்புலேஷன் இந்தியாவில் தான் இருக்குது. 50% ஆஃப் த பீப்புள் ஆர் யங்ஸ்டர்ஸ். அன்லைக் சைனா எடுத்துட்டிங்கன்னா எல்லாம் வயசானவங்க, நடக்க முடியாத ஆளுங்க தான் இருக்காங்கன்னு சொல்கிறாங்க. ஆனால் இங்கே வாய்ப்பு இருக்குது. ஆனால் இதில் என்ன பிரச்சனை அப்படின்னு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா, இன்னைக்கு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா இந்த HR பீப்புள், பர்டிகுலர்லி HR ஹியூமன் ரிசோர்ஸஸ், ஏதோ வேலை கிடைச்சா போதும், நான் செட்டில் ஆகிட்டேன் அப்படின்னு நினைக்கிறாங்க. இட் இஸ் நாட் ஸோ. ஹெச்ஆர்னா எப்படி இருக்கணும்? ரியல் அந்த இன்வால்மெண்ட் இருக்கணும். அதாவது ஒரு ஆண்டர்பிரனோரியல் இன்வால்மெண்ட். யூ பி அன் ஆண்டர்பிரனர், பட் யூ பி அன் இன்டர் ஆண்டர்பிரனர். நீங்கள் இன்டர் ஆண்டர்பிரனராக இருங்க. அதாவது நிறைய பேர் நம்ம ஈஸியாக இன்வால்மெண்ட்டுங்கிற வார்த்தையை சொல்லிடுறோம். அதை பிரித்து பாருங்க அந்த வார்த்தையை. voluntarily involve in that. voluntarily you be in voluntarily. அடுத்தால பார்த்தீங்கன்னா விங்கிற வார்த்தை வருது, விக்டரி. அப்புறம் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா மென்ட், கமிட்மெண்ட். அந்த ஸ்கில்டு ஒர்க்கர்ஸுக்கு அந்த இன்வால்மெண்ட், அந்த கமிட்மெண்ட் வந்துட்டுன்னா அவர் தான் ஆண்டர்பிரனர், அவர் தான் இன்டர் ஆண்டர்பிரனர் இந்த ஆர்கனைசேஷன். இந்த நாட்டில் இதுதான் மிஸ்ஸிங். அந்த ரியல் இன்வால்மெண்ட். லெட் ஹிம் பி an entrepreneur, let him be an employee, பட் அந்த ரியல் கமிட்மெண்ட் அங்கே வரணும். இப்போ இதே இது பார்த்தீங்கன்னா ஒரு ஜாப்பனீஸ் நேஷனில் எடுத்துக்கிட்டிங்கன்னா அங்கே போலீஸ்மேனே இல்லை. அங்குள்ள எம்ப்ளாயீஸுக்கு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா சூப்பர்வைசர் கிடையாது. He himself is doing the job correctly to the perfection. எல்லாமே சிறப்பாக செய்யணும்னு நினைக்கிறாங்க. தன்னை விட இன்னொருத்தர் சிறப்பாக செய்யக்கூடாதுன்னு நினைக்கிறாங்க. அதுதான் அங்குள்ள வெற்றி. அதனால the skill gap is very huge in India. There is ample opportunity. அதாவது இந்திய நாட்டுக்கு இதை விட ஒரு கோல்டன் ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டி கிடைக்காது. இதை விட கோல்டன் ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டி கிடைக்காது. இன்னும் another 4-5 years or even 10 years, the ஹியூமன் ரிசோர்ஸுக்கு அவ்வளோ ஸ்கோப் இருக்கு. இப்போ தான் எல்லாருமே ரெகனைஸ் பண்ணுறாங்க HR ஒரு கேபிட்டல்னு இந்த நாட்டில். இதுக்கு முந்தி இதை ஒரு கேபிட்டலாகவே யாரும் நினைச்சது இல்லை. டுடே இட் இஸ் அ கேபிட்டல். ஹியூமன் ரிசோர்ஸ் தான் கேபிட்டல். என்னுடைய நிர்வாகத்தில் உண்மையில சொல்கிறேன், நான்லாம் ஆரம்பிக்கும் பொழுது எனக்கு கூட இருந்தவங்கலாம் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா ஒரு 5ஆம் கிளாஸ் 6ஆம் கிளாஸ் 10ஆம் கிளாஸ் படித்தவங்க தான் 3 பேருமே. ஆனால் இன்னைக்கு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா தேர் ஆல் சேல்ஸ் மேனேஜர்ஸ் இன் மை கம்பெனி பிகாஸ் ஐ ட்ரெயின்ட் தம், ஐ டியூன்ட் தம் இன் சச் அ வே தே ஆர் ஏபிள் டு ஹேண்டில் பிகாஸ் I am involved in the business and they are also involved in the business. But இதே கமிட்மெண்ட்டோட எல்லாரும் நாளைக்கு வர skilled people because you will be knowing everything, but the real inter-entrepreneur, every organization needs inter-entrepreneur. யாராக இருக்கட்டும், இங்கே இருக்க பார்த்தீங்க, இங்கே நிறைய இண்டஸ்ட்ரீஸ் இருப்பாங்க, டயஸில் இருக்கிறாங்க. சார்கிட்ட உமாபதி சார்கிட்ட கேளுங்க, சார் எனக்கு அவங்க ஹியூமன் ரிசோர்ஸ் டிபார்ட்மெண்ட்டே நடத்துகிறாங்க, ரொம்ப நல்லாவே பண்ணுறாங்க, இதை ஆர்கனைஸ் பண்ணுறாங்க. இருந்தாலும் சார்கிட்ட போய் கேளுங்க, அந்த ரியல் இன்டர்-ஆந்திரப்பரார் என்கிட்ட கம்மியாக இருக்கான்னு தான் சார் சொல்லுவாங்க. என்ன சார், ரைட் தானே? திஸ் இஸ் த கேப். அதனால் தெர் இஸ் லாட் ஆஃப் ஸ்கோப் இன் இந்தியா, ample opportunity. Only thing we have to grab it. You tell your friends, எல்லார்கிட்டையும் சொல்லுங்க, there is ample opportunity. இது ஒரு golden opportunity for India. நம்ம எல்லாமே பேசுகிறோம், let us implement. நம்ம வாழ்க்கையில் வாழ்ந்து காட்டுவோம், வாழ்ந்து காட்டணும். ஏன்னா ஒரு இதை நான் கூட சொல்லிக்க ஆசிக்கிறேன். ஒரு ஜாப்பனீஸ் லேடி, இது ஒருத்தர் சொல்ல நான் கேட்டது. ஒரு 77 வயது பெண் தன்னுடைய வீட்டில் அந்த டோரில் உள்ள பிராஸ்லாம் இருக்கும் இல்லையா, நம்ம அந்த டோர் ஹேண்டில்ஸ், அதை அழகாக பாலிஷ் பண்ணிக்கிட்டே இருந்தாங்களா. 77 வயது பெண் நல்லா பாலிஷ் பண்ணிகிட்டு இருந்தாங்க. அந்த அம்மா அதை போய் பார்க்குறதும் திரும்ப பாலிஷ் பண்ணுறதும் பார்க்குறதும் பாலிஷ் பண்ணுறதும் இதே வேலையாக இருந்துருக்காங்க. அப்போ இதை பார்த்துட்டு இருந்த ஒரு நல்ல ஒரு வெரி எஜுகேட்டட் மேன் இது என்னென்னு தெரிஞ்சுக்கணும்னு ஆசைப்பட்டார். ஏம்மா நீ போயிட்டு வர? அடே இல்லை, இந்த வேலையை வேற ஒருத்தர் என்னை விட சிறப்பாக செஞ்சிடக்கூடாது அப்படின்னு நினச்சி நான் அதுக்கு முழு கவனம் அதுக்கு செலுத்துகிறேன் அப்படின்னு சொல்கிறாங்க. 70 வயசு பெண் 77 வயசு பெண். See, that is the commitment. இன்னொரு ஜாப்பனீஸ் உதாரணத்தை ஒன்று சொல்கிறேன் பாருங்க. ஜாப்பனீஸ் பீப்புள் எடுத்துக்கிட்டிங்கன்னா அவங்களுக்கு பேட்ரியாட்டிசம் ரொம்ப அதிகம். ஏன்னா கிட்டத்தட்ட 15 கோடி மக்கள் தான் அங்கே இருக்கிறாங்க. இந்தியாவில் 120 கோடியை தாண்டி போயிடுச்சு. அங்கே பேட்ரியாட்டிசம், நம்ம தான் பேட்ரியாட்டிசம் சொல்லிக்கிட்டு இருக்கோம், பட் நாட்டிலேருந்து என்ன கிடைக்கும் நம்ம சிந்திச்சுக்கிட்டு இருக்கோம். அவங்க பாருங்க, நல்ல அழகான ஒரு விஷயத்த அவங்க ட்ரெயினில், இதுவும் ஒருத்தர் சொல்ல கேட்டது தான், நான் பார்த்ததில்லை, நான் ஜப்பான் போனதில்லை. ட்ரெயினில் போயிட்டு இருந்தாங்களாம். அப்பொழுது அந்த ட்ரெயினில் இவர் பக்கத்தில் உள்ள பேசஞ்சர் அந்த சேரை தச்சுக்கிட்டு இருந்தாராம். என்னப்பா இதை தச்சுக்கிட்டு இருக்கிறீங்களே அப்படின்னு கேட்டதுக்கு அவருக்கு ஒரு கேள்வி கேட்டாராம். இந்த ட்ரெயின் யாருக்கு சொந்தம் அப்படின்னு கேட்டார். உடனே இது கவர்மெண்ட்டுக்கு சொந்தம். கவர்மெண்ட் யாருக்கு சொந்தம்? ஃபார் த பீப்புள். அப்புறம் யார் செய்யணும்? நான் தான் செய்யணும். அப்போது அந்த சீட்டில் ட்ராவல் பண்ணுற மனிதன் அதை ஸ்டிச் பண்ணுறான். ஆனால் நம்ம நாட்டில் என்ன பண்ணுறோம்? அதை பிச்சு போட்டுறோம். இதுதான் அவனுக்கும் நமக்குள்ள வித்தியாசம். நம்ம எல்லாம் பெருசாக பேசுகிறோம். அதனால் we should commit. ஏன்னா நல்ல இன்னைக்கு வாய்ப்புகள் அதிகமாக இருக்குது. நிறைய ஆர்கனைசேஷன், HR ஆர்கனைசேஷன்ஸ் நல்லா ட்ரெயின் பண்ணுறதுக்கு நிறைய வாய்ப்புகள் இருக்குது இந்தியன் நாட்டில். we have to make use of it. ஏன்னா நிச்சயமாக நீ காலையிலேருந்து இன்னைக்கு சாயந்தரம் வரைக்கும் நிறைய லெக்சர்ஸ் கேட்டிருப்பீங்க. நான் சார் அதை ரிப்போர்ட்டை வாசிக்கும் பொழுது என்னை ஏங்க விட்டாங்கன்னு தான் நான் நினச்சேன். இருந்தாலும் நிறைவு செய்யும் விழாவில் எனக்கு இப்படி ஒரு வாய்ப்பு கொடுத்ததுக்காக நான் உங்களுக்கு நன்றி செலுத்துகிறேன். நிச்சயமாக we should be very practical in our life. நிச்சயமாக நம்முடைய திறமைகளை இன்னும் சிறப்பாக செய்யும் பொழுது இந்த சமுதாயம் வளரும்.